This is Grunt to Groan, sales lessons learned from professional wrestling. Coming to you from the fabulous Delaware Wrestling Thunderdome, I'm your host, Benjamin Burrows.
I am one voice that stands alone. I am one choice to man the throne. Stand guard and take shots, give it all I got. All I got is this microphone.
Well, hello and welcome to Grunt to Groan, sales lessons learned from professional wrestling. I'm your host, Benjamin Burrows. And it is a great day to be out selling your products and selling your services. For you are the great American thunder on which this nation rolls, because nothing happens until something is sold, until you get out there and you sell it.
And what you gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world destroy you?
And what you gonna do, brother, when a sales professional comes to you with the solution to your problems? The answers to your questions. Again, a great day to be a sales professional. Hope you had a great holiday. Hope you are rested and ready to rock and roll, because it's a great time to be a sales professional. And as you can tell, I love this profession of sales.
And what you gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world destroy you?
There he is, Hulk Hogan. Hey, want to thank Sonny Thunder and the Sons of Thunder for allowing us to bring you this podcast week after week after week from the fabulous Delaware Wrestling Thunderdome, established in 1966, where champions are made. I want to thank our producer, Dave the Ray, for hanging and banging with us, and my show prep team, Audie Jenkins and Gunnar Haskins. Thank you, guys. Hey, Audie's in charge of all of our merchandise. So if you're interested in getting a Great American Thunder t-shirt or a Grunt to Groan book, you can go to the .coms. You can go to Amazon.com, get the t-shirt, or just email us at greatamericanthunder@gmail.com. That's greatamericanthunder@gmail.com. I had to order my Great American Thunder t-shirt this week. You would think, as the author of the book, Grunt to Groan, Sales Lessons Learned from Professional Wrestling, and as the host of this great podcast, that I could get a Great American Thunder t-shirt for free, but no. Audie Jenkins has said absolutely not. So the t-shirts are available on Amazon.com. The books you can buy at any one of the .coms. And again, hope you had a great holiday. The family and I took a little vacation. We went to Luray, Virginia, where we rented a cabin. My wife and I and my son and his family. And as it would be, you know, I kind of messed things up a little bit, as I have a habit of doing. I ended up falling into the river, the Shenandoah River. I actually did. My grandson, the Skull Crusher, who makes the beats for the podcast here, he decided he wanted to go fishing. So we did, and I'm not a fisherman, so the first thing that happens is we catch a tree. And in trying to untangle the fishing line and the lure and all that kind of stuff from the tree, my grandson, the Skull Crusher, fell into the Shenandoah River. And being the hero that I am, you know, cape and all, I decided to, you know, help him get out of the river, in which I ended up falling into the river. I got him out, but I got stuck. And it's kind of embarrassing. I had to have my son, Mad Dog Fred, the ugly monkey boy, come down to the river with a branch that I had to hold on to the branch as he pulled me out of the river. So I hope your holiday was a little drier than mine. I hope you didn't fall into any rivers or anything like that. So this is episode 63 of Grunt to Groan. We are in part 10 of our series, Succeeding in Sales During Hard Times, with lessons learned from professional wrestling. And this has been a long series, but I think it's been a great series, and I appreciate all the feedback that you have given me. And if you would like to make comments, feedback, criticize, or give kudos, email me at greatamericanthunder at gmail.com. And I think this was an important series because, our world is changing and has changed due to the COVID pandemic, due to these hard times. And I think we covered a lot of ground over the last 9 weeks. We're going to wrap it up with this episode right here. Now, over the last 9 episodes, we have covered ground that included work ethic. And we were using Vince McMahon from the WWE as our example of his insane work ethic. And as a sales professional, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from Vince McMahon and his crazy-ass work ethic. We also covered communication and how quickly the WWE had to adapt and communicate that WrestleMania 36 would not be a live event, but a virtual event, a digital event, and how they communicated that and how quickly their communications team came together and got that message out. We also covered positioning your tradition and using WrestleMania 36 as the example, and how you can position the great service that you've provided to your clients over the years and the reliable products that you've provided. We covered displaying your difference. What makes you different than your competition? And again, at WrestleMania 36, how that was different than any other WrestleMania that the WWE had ever put on. We covered cornering and capturing your creativity and how these hard times force us as sales professionals to be more creative than we've ever been in our approach to our jobs. And then in our last episode, we covered how to intrigue your client with innovation. And one of the things that the COVID-19 pandemic has done is it has created a ton of innovation across multiple sales verticals and in multiple industries. And now is the time, if you're representing this innovation, to present this innovation. So in this episode, though, and on this part, I think it's important because we're going to look at how to transition. And I started thinking about transitioning past COVID-19. But in all of my research, I have found that the experts are believing that right now, the world we're living in, this is the new normal. That this is kind of the way it's going to be for quite some time. So I was trying to look at how the WWE adapt to producing professional wrestling events during this time, and what we as sales professionals have been forced to do to be successful during this time. And the question, comes up, what now? How do we transition successfully past COVID-19? But again, in all the research, it's not how do we transition past COVID-19, it's how do we transition right now to what is the new normal. From the web article, 4 Ways to Reconfigure Your Sales Strategy, posted on HarvardBusinessReview.com, author Scott Edinger writes, "It has become clear that we won't be back to business as usual anytime soon." It's clear we won't be back to business as usual anytime soon. So is this the new normal? Edinger continued, As companies settle into the reality that the current state of things might be the new normal, they need to shift their focus from temporary fixes to a fresh approach to their organizational strategy. For any business that relies on direct sales to drive revenue, it's time to systematically update your sales organization for the world we're living in right now. Now, I found that statement profound. Think about that. You know, in the early days of COVID, things were frantic. We were in a panic. Our clients had questions and problems and concerns, and we couldn't get product fast enough. And if we could get product, it was hard to get it shipped out. It was craziness personified. But now, what if the way this pandemic has settled out, that this is the new normal? We got our systems down. We're getting in product. For the WWE, who makes its productions come alive in part with the energy, enthusiasm, and emotion of a live audience, understanding that living with COVID restrictions might be the new normal, that it's not going away. So the WWE had to transition to what is now our new normal, just to maintain their fans and audience. With this in mind, the WWE Thunderdome was born. Now, let me pause there for a minute. There are many professional wrestling Thunderdomes, and this is for my good friend Sonny Thunder. But there is only one fabulous Delaware Wrestling Thunderdome, established in 1966, where champions are made. Sonny's over there smiling. The WWE Thunderdome is a little different, though. It is a virtual and digital platform that allows the WWE to connect its fans to its events. So from the web article posted on Insider.com, the inside story of the WWE Thunderdome, written by Alan Dawson, we find how the WWE came to the conclusion that they needed to transition from a live audience to a digital audience. Dawson writes, sports entertainment traditionally works best when it feeds off of a live audience, reaching to the chaotic energy unfolding in and out of the ring. When the coronavirus pandemic forced a pause to live events with crowds, the WWE moved away from big, fan-filled arenas and into the firm's performance center in Orlando, Florida, to host events behind closed doors. Now think about that. The WWE would produce events that would be held in front of tens of thousands of fans who were emotionally connected and energized by what was happening in the ring. On the other side of that coin, WWE wrestlers, WWE performers, they were feeding off the energy and the emotion and the excitement of the crowd. And with COVID-19, that ended. They went from wrestling in front of tens of thousands to wrestling in front of nobody. So after much debate, the WWE concluded that a digital audience was a solution to their need of a live audience. And the idea of the Thunderdome was born. The WWE turned to the Famous Group to bring their digital idea alive. Now think about this. The WWE did not have the expertise and the technology to bring the WWE Thunderdome to life. So they had to go out and contract with a company called the Famous Group. And in researching for this podcast, here's what's amazing. I did not realize the amount of technology used to bring the Thunderdome to life. They're using drones and 3D cameras. They're screening their virtual audience. From the Dawson article, he writes, with it becoming increasingly apparent that mass gatherings were not happening anytime soon, the WWE wanted to find a way of bringing its fans into an arena through virtual reality, thus the Thunderdome. Dawson interviewed the owner and partner of the Famous Group, Jeff Sluizer. Sluizer said, it starts with the WWE vision and what they wanted to create, and give them credit for having the vision. He continued, they were willing to take this concept of having virtual fans to a place nobody had ever seen before. The WWE was reimagining their industry, their live audience, their connection to their fans and their clients. The WWE was making this transition and has made this transition their new normal. They're not the only business or industry who has done this. As highlighted in the November edition of Sanitary Magazine, Acme Paper in Savage, Maryland is another example of an industry leader making transitions during these hard times. They rebranded their janitorial and sanitation division into the Hygiene and Facilities Solutions division. Acme Paper noticed early on that facilities managers were refocusing their energies, their efforts, and their intrigue. From the article, Refreshing the Message by James DeGraff, posted in the November edition of Sanitary Magazine, Phil Carrizales, director of Acme Paper's Hygiene and Facilities Solution Division, was quoted, for years, many managers would only be concerned with price and kill claims of products like disinfectants. Now they're asking questions that we'd only get from infection preventionists in the healthcare field. They allow us to get a full scope of their facility like never before. Think about that. Carrizales says that facilities directors and managers were allowing them to get a full scope of their facility like never before. As a sales professional, this is an important lesson for us. Hard times like the COVID pandemic allow us to reach a higher level of relationship, a higher level of intimacy with our clients. They have the questions, and they have the problems, and they have the concerns. We have the answers, and we are the calm during the storm. Transition, new normal. Back to Edinger's web article again, posted on harvardbusinessreview.com, entitled 4 Ways to Reconfigure Your Sales Strategy. What can we as sales professionals do to make this transition and make this transition seamless? Well, number one, put sales at the center of your strategy. Now, look, through this series, I have said quit selling and be helpful. And I believe that. And I'm not wavering on that. To be successful during hard times is to help your client. Not sell them anything, but to help them. But at the end of the day, we are sales professionals, and we work for sales organizations. So we have to keep sales at the center of our strategy. Ask these questions. What changes has your business experienced throughout the pandemic, through these hard times? And have you adapted the way your sales organization or you go to market to meet these different priorities? Point number 2, leverage sales to discover and meet new customer needs. Look, this pandemic has opened up a ton of questions, concerns, and needs that our clients never knew existed before now. You know, even though the economy has tightened during this pandemic, that doesn't mean there aren't new opportunities. COVID-19 has changed everything. Everything. Including our lifestyle. And when lifestyles shift, new markets are created. And as we transition to the new normal, are you looking at these shifts and these new markets? Point number 3, improve the sales experience. At the onset of the COVID-19 crisis, many organizations adapted by moving sales interactions to video conference or phone. But the longer-term opportunity is to rethink how to use these platforms to improve, not just sustain, but improve the sales experience. As we shift and transition into a new normal, what does the sales experience look like for your client? What have you done to make the sales experience easy, seamless? Dare I say perfect? Can your client communicate with you any time of the day or night? And the last point from Edinger's article, don't forget to leverage the physical environment when social distancing. Now, look, we are beginning to get out on the road slowly, and we are beginning to see some clients face to face. Now, when we do that, we have to expect and respect social distancing. So we have to figure out, learn, educate ourselves on how to communicate 6 feet apart. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you're a sales professional, for example, who uses an iPad, you're used to sitting next to your client showing your presentation. Well, you can't do that in social distance. So you have to figure out how to make that digital presentation come alive with your communication skills. You also, and this hit me pretty hard, you also have to be able to communicate while wearing a mask and 6 feet away. Now, this hit me hard because I found my client asking me, what did you say? More and more. So I had to slow down, speak clearer, and enunciate. These are small things, but how many sales have we lost in our careers due to the translation? So understand, expect, and respect the social distancing. Edinger concludes, facing the disruptions caused by COVID-19 continues to be a challenge, but it can provide unexpected opportunities to drive a better sales process with prospects and clients. With thoughtful modifications, planning, and some imagination, your sales strategy, sales experience, and customer interaction can emerge and can grow from the pandemic stronger than ever. And with that, I'm going to conclude episode 63 of Grunt to Groan, Sales Lessons Learned from Professional Wrestling. It has been an honor and a privilege to present to you this series. We are working on a second installment of the book, Grunt to Groan, entitled Succeeding in Sales During Hard Times with Lessons Learned from Professional Wrestling. We're hoping to have the book out sometime within the next couple weeks. We are writing on this and editing it diligently. We're doing it as we speak. So be looking for that. So thank you for downloading the podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast. And remember, you are the great American thunder on which this nation rolls, because nothing happens until something is sold. Until you get out there and you sell it. So quit listening to me and get out there. Sell something.
I am one voice that stands alone. I am one choice to man the throne. Stand guard and take shots. Give it all I got. All I got is this microphone.